Hey guys, this is Carrie, and today I am going to be teaching you step by step how to paint this unicorn. I am actually painting this special for my friend's daughter Dakota. I know she loves unicorns, and this reminded me of her. And her birthday was just yesterday, and we couldn't be with her, so I figured I'd bring some creativity to her. So happy birthday, Dakota, and I miss you, and we can't wait to see you. All right, so I'm using a 12 by 12 canvas. If you have a color box, then you should have gotten two of these size canvases. So we're doing a lot of these tutorials using these 12 by 12 canvases for that reason. So I have that, but if you have a different size, that's fine. Just change the composition. Even if you have a rectangle, that's fine. It just means you have more space to the right, left, top, whichever way you want to put the composition. So adjust it accordingly. I have my medium flat brush, and then I have a small round brush for the detail. I'm going to use most of the paint. I'm going to do most of it with this flat brush though. Then I have my egg carton with all my colors. I really filled them up because I don't want to have to get up and refill anything. So we are not going to be using this much paint. But if you have any left over, I would put this whole entire egg carton into a plastic bag and Ziploc it, and it should last for days. So don't throw out any paint that you have. You can, keep on using it. So I have my paper plate, I have my water, I have my tea, and get comfy and let's get to it. So I'm going to take this medium brush, this flathead brush, and I'm going to actually mix a gray color. So let's do 4 scoops of white onto your plate. Nice big scoops. Okay, because we're going to do the unicorn. And I want to have enough paint. So you're going to add some black to this. Just add 1 scoop of black. 1 scoop of black should really bring that to a nice medium gray. 4 scoops of white, 1 scoop of black. So you should have like a nice medium. Okay? So this is the color we're going to use to draw out our unicorn. My paintbrush is really goopy. If it's goopy, just go like this on the edges. So the way we are going to start this out, starting is the hardest part because we're going from having nothing to something. So what I want you to do is I want you to put an imaginary line down the center of your canvas and an imaginary line going across, okay? So we're just gonna measure out using that. So as you can see, if I put a line down the center of this painting, then you can see that the unicorn's horn lines up perfectly and then the whole middle of the face lines up. So what I want you to do is I want you to put a line right down, okay? And then I want you to just put a little, it's like an upside down T, okay? Because that's gonna be the bottom of the horse's nose. And then if you put like a half circle, that's gonna be the horse's mouth. So now we know we have some kind of direction, okay? So if I put a line across here, then we can see that that's where the eyes are, but the horn comes up a little bit more. So if I have an imaginary line going across my canvas, then the horn's gonna, don't worry about it. If you did that, don't worry about it. I'm not gonna worry about it. So I just want you to put a little line like that, and all the horn is for now is an upside down triangle, okay? So we're gonna do that. And then I just want you to paint that in. Don't worry if it's sloppy, okay? All right, so I want you to now go, we're gonna move to down here and we're just gonna make all the horse's noses are 2 different nostrils, I guess, what you would call them. Just 2 different bumps here, okay? So everything we do could be adjusted later, okay? Don't feel like, oh yeah, this is permanent. Don't worry about it. So if you don't like these lines later, we can make them go away. But for now, all we're doing is the horse's head, okay? So if you have a line going across here, you know that that's where the eyes are gonna be. So you're gonna just put a mark there. And we have the ears to do. So the ears are coming up, one's coming up that way, one's coming up that way. So if it helps you to put a line there for now, put a line there, okay? Right down the middle, like as if I put a line right down the middle of here. So I'm gonna take this ear and do that. This, oops, any more paint? This ear, and do that. Now we have a base of what we want our unicorn to be, okay? And everybody's is gonna be very different. So we're gonna do the shoulder, okay? All the shoulder is like a bump coming out this way, a bump coming out this way, and then a smaller bump coming out that way, okay? We're gonna have hair going everywhere, so don't worry about things being even or anything like that. So the biggest thing I want you guys to do and remember is I want your paint to be really thin, okay? Because I want to do all these beautiful colors on top of it, and we're also going to do the lights and darks. So I really need it to be nice and thin, okay? So that being said, all you really need to do up here, I kind of want you to do a curved line, and I just want you to keep the paint really thin and really stretch it out. Because we're going to hop from one section to another, and by the time we come back to this one, I want it to be dry. So I'm going to make another curved line here. Nice and thin. Don't worry about the brush strokes and all that stuff. All right, so you see that this eye is here. So we're gonna just make a line that kind of like goes from, it's like a curved line. It doesn't have to look exactly like my line, okay? Don't worry about that. And we're gonna do the same thing over here. We're just gonna make a line. Come in here, all right. And now what we're gonna do is we're just gonna paint in all the rest of this. Don't worry about losing that unicorn horn. We'll get it back later. I do want you to just keep it as thin as you possibly can, the paint. Stretch it out. Don't worry about any of the brush strokes. Don't worry at all. So my friend Rachel, her daughter is Dakota, whose birthday was yesterday, and they did the whole police escort, drive-by, beeping and things like that. So I was really bummed that we couldn't go because we had school, homeschooling, of course, and they had classes they had to attend. So we didn't get to see Dakota on her birthday, so we were really bummed. So, all right, so what I want you to do now, so we need a different color gray. So I want you to just, I don't like to wash my brush unless I have to, and how I get away with that is I'll dip my brush in the edge of the paint, not in the middle of the paint. I want you to take some white, and just on the edge of that gray, I want you to mix a pile that's a little bit lighter. All you do is add white to make it lighter, okay? Now, we're gonna, actually I want mine a little bit lighter. You have to be able to see the difference between the two piles. It doesn't matter if it's exactly like mine at all, okay? So now we're gonna do the shoulders, okay? And the reason why I had you do that is just so you could see the difference between the shoulders and the head. That's it. Okay. And basically what we're doing first is we're getting rid of all of this white of the canvas. That's always the first part that I do. Everything else can be adjusted. So now we're gonna wash that brush off, and you're gonna pick whatever background color you want your unicorn to have. It does not have to be what I have. I did like a very greeny turquoisey color. I'm gonna do that, but don't feel like you have to do that. I actually forgot to do my little guy's mouth over here, so I'm gonna just do that. All right. So the way I made that background color is I took 4 scoops of blue onto my plate. Then I added 2 scoops of yellow. And let's start with 2 scoops of white and see where that takes us. All right, sometimes you don't know what color you want until you mix it and you're like, whoa, I like that color. I think I want to add 2 more scoops of white to mine. Or actually, let's start with 1 and see what happens. So again, this isn't about getting to my color, it's about getting to a color you guys like. This isn't about me, this is about doing a unicorn that is a representation of you and what colors you like and all that stuff. So all right, I like this, it's like a sea foamy green. So all I'm gonna do now is do the background. Light, don't worry, we'll do a whole nother coat later. Okay, I'm gonna actually make my shoulder a little bit smaller. I was overzealous with my shoulder. All right, so that's what's cool about acrylic paint is that you could adjust things by overlapping and stuff, and it's very, very forgiving paint. So we're gonna, after we do this, we're gonna hop back on the inside. So when you get up here, you don't necessarily, there's gonna be all hair here and stuff, so you could just put a little bump here like this. You don't have to do any of that other stuff. You can just all right, come around here, make sure there's no puddles anywhere, really spread it out. Same thing over here, you could just have a bump and really spread it out. And at any point, if you want to not do what I'm doing, you know, feel free. This isn't about, you know, me teaching you how to copy my painting. This is about me teaching you some painting techniques, and you can do with it what you know, do with it as you please. So my leverage is a bit off, so I'm gonna move my canvas so I feel more comfortable. At any point, you can turn your canvas around. It's all about being comfortable, so make sure you're comfy. Really get rid of all that white. Spread it out. So now we went from having nothing but white to having at least something we can recognize and build on. So it'll be a lot easier now. So I like to do the edges because when you put this on your wall, it looks a lot neater when the edges are painted. Don't ask me why I do the bottom. I just feel like I have to. Knowing that there's nothing on the bottom annoys me, even though nobody really sees the bottom. Did I do the top? No. All right, so get all those edges in, and we're gonna work on the inside of our unicorn next, and it should be dry. The sides also give you a little bit of extra time, drying time for the other parts of your painting. Let's get that all in. Double check that you didn't pull your paint anywhere. We want it to be nice and flat. All right, wash that brush off good. So when you go to wash and dry your brush, just make sure that this part here loves to hold water. So I just want you to make sure you dry it off really, really good. All right. Take a sip of my tea. And by the way, feel free to like play music or whatever makes you feel comfortable. I'm actually gonna have you go back with the lighter color, the color that we did the neck with, and I just want you to kind of fill in the rest of this white up here with that lighter color. Okay. That way we have no white. I don't want you to be distracted by any bright white color. But again, keep this nice and thin. All right, so now we have it all covered. So what I want you guys to do is we're gonna take that same light color and add more white to it. So I have that color, and I'm gonna add just a big old scoop of white, okay? All right, so what I want you to do is we're gonna actually start by just making this middle part of the nose. So when you pet, I don't know if you've ever pet a horse, but they have this nice flat part of their nose in the middle, okay? And I'm gonna teach you about feathering. So feathering is just when the paint comes off your brush and there's not a lot of paint on your brush. And then it's almost like it's chalky, so you want it to be like it's not an abrupt line, okay? Now I want you to come over here, and we have these jaws, and we're just gonna put some paint here. If you wanna take some paint off your brush a little bit, you can use your napkin, okay? But I do want you to keep, see these dark lines here? We're gonna try to keep those there. So I want you to use this paint, go all the way up, go all the way down, but try to keep that dark line in the middle. Same thing on this edge. Try to keep that line down the middle. Okay. Now we're gonna make that lighter. Don't worry about it right now. We're just kind of practicing blending. So you're gonna do the same thing over here, connect these two, and then connect this guy here. So you can keep the holes here too. All right, so that was a good practice for blending. You can even blend it up in here so you can't see that line. All right, so that looks good. So now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take pure white. You can either wash your brush, or I'm not gonna wash my brush. I like to dab it. I like to take a scoop and dab it on my plate. Take pure white, and what I want you to do is I want you to, so if we put an imaginary line across here, we know that that's where the eyes are. So we're gonna just kind of take our brush. This brush, mine's quite goopy. All you're gonna do is take it this way. It's on its side, so it's flat. And we're gonna just, with one stroke, make the eyelid. So press down and then pull up. Ready? We're gonna make the eyelid. All we're gonna do is use that flat brush, okay? See how I'm using the shape of the brush? So make these eyelids as big and fancy as you want. Whatever. All right. So now I just want you to take that pure white and go down the nose again. Just the nose for now. And you don't need a lot of paint. You can just curve it at the bottom. And I just want you to take this, you can use whatever brush you feel good about now. I want you to take this and just make a little bit of lighter color around here and a little bit of a lighter color here. That's all for now. And then what I want you to do is see these insides of the cheeks right here? Not quite to the eye, but in between the nose and the eye. I want you to put just a little bit of lightness here and a little bit of lightness here. Okay. All right. So we're going to go back later and put some lights and darks and stuff in there just to make it even more, you know, contrasty. But for now, what I want you to do is we're going to take that, remember the dark, our original dark color, and we're going to do the neck again. Actually, you know what I want you to do? Let's add a little bit of black to that. So see that original color? Let's take a section of that and add a little bit of black. Just so you have a little bit of a darker gray. And now let's go back. Yeah, that's much better. So I want you to be able to see your neck. See how I separate the neck, the horse's neck from the head? That's what you want. Okay, and go all around it. Very thin paint. I'm trying to get good leverage here. Okay. And just paint around that neck and face. The reason why I left some like that is because I realized I made the neck too big. So I'm going to go over it with my background color. So if you feel like you made your neck too big, you can actually just color in what you want the neck to be. And then when we go back to the background, I'll show you. You just fill it in like that. But if you like the way your neck is, just fill it the whole neck in, okay? Then you're gonna do a whole nother coat on the background. All right, keep it thin. But this second coat should cover nicely. And at the very end, if you want to do one more coat, you can do as many coats as you want. So go all around, take your time, being patient. Painting is a lot about being patient. You don't get from that to a finished product right away. You have to take steps and go slow. It always helps me to listen to like my favorite music. So if put your favorite music on, get relaxed, and we'll get there. The biggest thing with this painting is blending of the nose, but we'll get it. We'll go very slow. Okay. I also want you to take your time in the background so you could, so we have time for the middle, the actual unicorn to dry. But acrylic paint's awesome because A, it dries really fast, and B, you can fix things really easily. All right, so let's do the edges again. I know kids don't like to do second coats of things, so if you feel like you don't want to do a second coat, there's going to be different ages doing this, so you do whatever you want to do. I'm just biding my time for the middle. Okay. So, wash and dry that brush off. So now we have a pile of dark, medium, and light, okay? That's what we want. If you don't have that, pause me and make sure you have a dark, medium, and light, all right? So we're gonna take that medium and we're just gonna do a second coat on the ear here. I want you to go all the way up to the edge. Make sure there's no white spots, but also make sure you're keeping it nice and thin. Same thing with the other ear. This is the medium color gray. Okay. Everybody good? All right, so you're gonna do another coat of medium gray on your unicorn horn, keeping it very thin. Okay. All right. So now we're gonna take that same medium gray, okay? And we're gonna come down a little bit. See how I'm just meeting it, the top of that nose, and just brush them down, okay? So you're gonna come do some medium gray again on the sides of the nose like this. Sides of the nose. You don't need a lot of paint for this. Okay. So you're gonna still take that medium gray. Now, it might get a little tricky. I want you to come to the sides of the horse's head, okay? And I just want you to take some medium gray, put it there. Medium gray, put it there. I want you to take the medium gray and I want you to go over the lower half of the mouth again, okay? You can even kind of go inside the nose for now, if it helps you. Bring this down, go the inside of the nose, have the medium gray on the edges here. Okay, now we're gonna wash our brush. Now we're gonna go straight up white. So put some white on your plate. Now I want you to go in the middle of the nose again, okay? And I want you to just go up till you get to about the middle of the canvas. You can make a line like that here. That helps you. And if you want to curve this at the bottom, you can do that. But the key is you don't need a lot of paint. Ooh, got some blue mixed in with mine. Make sure you have nice white paint, fresh white paint. All right. So you want that nice and white. Again, you can curve it up down here and make a straight line up here if you want. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to take the same white and just go over the eyelids one more time. Nice and softly. All right, so now we're gonna take some you don't need a lot. We're gonna do dry brushing. We just wanna kind of get some white in on here. See how it looks feathery? You're just gonna put some white in there. Put some white in there. So sometimes feathering takes a little bit to get used to. Go up here. You're just kind of filling in all this space, but you still want the dark around the eye. Come up here. Keep the dark around the eye. So all the feathering means is that you just don't have a line that just stops. You kind of transition it into a soft, like, almost like, I don't know if you little girls wear blush, but it's like when you have a soft line that's blending, that's what you want. Okay, so you want this all to be blended nicely. All right, so I see over here, I want my horse's head to come in a little bit here. So see how easy it is to adjust things like that? So easy. All right, so now I used turquoise, so that's why I washed my brush off. So you're gonna take pure white now, and I want you to continue the blending, except up here, I want you to start with pure white, and you don't need a lot of paint. And you're just gonna blend it until it disappears into the dark. Blend it until it disappears. And don't worry if it's not completely bright white yet. Just keep it thin. See how it's lighter up here and the bottom of the ear is darker? That's what I want. Same thing over here. The white's gonna come up here and then it's gonna blend into the dark. See that? We're gonna do the same thing using white on the bottom here, okay? So first, we are going to take this big first muscle here and we're gonna kind of put some white here. Now you don't need a lot of white, and also I need you to keep some of that dark around the head so it separates the neck from the head. So keep some of that dark and just go around it. It's good. Your white's gonna turn gray, so don't worry about that. I just want you to keep that line around your horse's head. See how the original gray is around the horse's head? If you have to pick up your canvas, that's okay. You're gonna... So when you go to the next muscle, you want to keep some of that gray again. So you want to keep that. That line in between the two muscles. See that? You do the same thing over here. You're gonna go into the, almost all the way in, but you leave a line. Same thing over here, and under here, you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna leave a line all the way around the head. Again, don't worry, it's gonna turn gray. That's what we want. We don't want a bright white. We're gonna do bright white last. Do the same thing here. You're gonna All right, so we are getting there. So all we have to do now, if you want to switch to your tiny brush, you can. But we are going to go to the, I like using the middle brush. We're going to go to that lightest gray now. Now, if you're washing your brush, make sure you dry it really, really good. Remember the lightest gray? I'm going to go to that. And I want you to think about where you want that unicorn horn to start. And all this is, see how I'm flattening this? That's the shape, okay? So we're going to start putting lines in my unicorn horn. Now, these unicorn horns, they kind of come up and twist. So they're kind of going to... Don't worry about it being perfect or anything like that. You're just going to go and twist. All right. Cool. And again, I'm keeping that darkness in between. See, I kept the dark same way we did all the other things. Keep that dark in between. All right, cool. So let's go back. Where can we go now? I think it's dry enough to do our last kind of coat of white. Actually, you know what? Let's do something else. What I want you to do, if you need a new plate, get a new plate. Let's mix whatever colors you want for the hair. Let's get the first layer of the hair on. So I'm going to do the colors that I did there. So of course, pink is, I start with white and I add a little bit of red, and then I add a little bit of yellow to my pink. You don't have to do that. Totally up to you. So mix a pink that you like. Don't worry about my pink. Get to a pink you like. Mix it on your plate. Again, if you want to use your small paintbrush, use your small paintbrush. Think about where you want this to go. So I had my pink come out here around the eye, and then I kind of just went around. I had another pink, and there's a lot of overlapping here, so don't worry, go slow. I had some pink come around the eye. And of course, this pink I mixed is different than the pink I have here. And we're gonna do a whole nother layer of pink. So if you wanna change your pink, you can later. And then I had some come around here. See, I'm just using my paintbrush. You can make it a little bit fatter if you want. totally up to you. Use the width of your paintbrush to make it fatter. Have some coming out here. And you don't have to follow what I'm doing, ever. I put some pink down here. I kind of go from one side to the other. You can pick up your canvas if you need to. Now everybody's going to be different depending on your age. Some people are going to whip through this in 5 minutes, and some kids are going to have a lot more patience. You know, different age groups are different. So go at your own pace. Wash your brush, and I'm going to move on to purple. So purple is red and blue, and now there's many variations of purple. So you get to, you know, some have a little bit more blue, some have a little bit more red. So when you get to a purple that you like, add some white to it until it's a color that you like. I'm gonna add a little bit more white. Again, this isn't about getting to my color, it's about getting to a color you like. Just keep mixing till it gets to until it looks like it matches the pink nicely, or the way you like it. And you're gonna do the same thing. You're gonna, you know, put some purple hair in. You can overlap if you want. I put some, you can flatten your brush too by doing this, or use the skinny little brush, whatever you want. I like this big one because I like big, fat hair. And you can see my colors here are different. And that's why I have you guys mix, because I like when the colors are different. Every painting I do, the colors are a bit different. That's what's about. I make different brush strokes. I'm not making the same hair. I'd say just make sure it's even on both sides when you do it. And here's the kind of thing I like to go really slow on, because sometimes I overdo it. And then I have like too much, and it's hard to take it away when that happens. So I'm going to do blue, and then I'm going to add some white to it until it's, again, a blue that matches my other two colors. So I'm going to keep adding white until it's a blue that I think matches. Okay. Then I kind of get the excess paint off by flattening my brush. And then I'll go in there and kind of figure out where you're going to go before you go. It's like a roller coaster. Go slow. You can make it disappear like that. And then you can make it reappear somewhere else. And then disappear. And then reappear. It's quite fun. All right, so I'm gonna leave it at that, and then I'll add some yellow. So we're actually letting the unicorn dry while we're doing this. Sorry if that's my stomach growling. Not sure if you can hear that. All right, now I'm going to mix some yellow. So I'm going to take some yellow and put it on my plate. Then I'm going to add some white to it. My white's getting all messed up. All right. So I have like a greenish white because I got blue in it, but that's okay. That's what I'm using. All right, so I'm gonna go do this at the tippity top. Whoop, tippity top. And again, you don't have to put it where I'm putting it. And we're gonna go, let's see, I don't have anything in between here, so I'll do that. I'll do that. And I'll have it come out here, and then I'll have it. So I don't have anything here. Kind of have it come out. And you just want it to be even, you know. Let's see. We'll have there. Yeah, I think I need that one to come out there. All right, so that's good for now. And you can see it's okay if it's different, you know. All my paintings are different. So we're gonna do one more coat while that dries. I'm actually going to, oh yeah, I'm gonna just go over, try not to get, you know, touch the hair that you just did, just kind of go around it. We're giving ourselves a tiny bit more drying time for the inside of the horse, the unicorn's face. If at any point you don't want to do another coat, don't. You know, this, I don't know how old, everybody's going to be different who's going to be doing these. So, you know, you really just go at your own pace. And you put into it what you want to put into it. And the hardest thing that just takes a little bit of practice and getting used to is the feathering. Once, you know, you do it over and over and over, you just get a lot better at it. And then you can go do paintings you think are harder, a little more challenging. And as long as you learn something every painting you do, then that's what it's all about. Okay, so get in there. All right, so now the inside of your horse should be dry enough to put that last coat of white. Okay, and then I know you want to rush to get the black in there, but I don't like to do the black till the very, very end. Because once you introduce the black, and if it touches anything else, it gets all smudgy. So first, I like to put that bright white in the middle here. Okay. Put that in there. Kind of round it out at the bottom. See how I don't have like a line, an abrupt line here? I have it so it's nice and soft. So you're going to do another bright white on there. So it's going to be a little bit trickier now that you have that hair coming in, but if you just feather it around the hair. Okay? Keep some of the dark around all your parts, like the eye, the hair, just keep that dark there. And just feather it in, get right up in there, like that, and just kind of feather it in. Take your time. You'll see that with feathering, you don't need a lot of paint. Okay, do it on this side. This side should be a little bit easier because there's nothing really to work around. This piece of hair is kind of tricky. Just go all the way up. All right, and don't forget, we're going to be outlining a lot of this with black, so we're going to lose all these sections. You know, all these parts where they're kind of, you're keeping a little bit of a dark space. So you can go as close to the edge as you feel comfortable. All right, so you can feather some white in here, the top part of the mouth, around the nose. Okay, now I want you to take some white, and I just want you to feather in, again, just a little tiny bit down here, but keep the line where it separates the mouth, okay? Now you're gonna do the same over here. You're just gonna feather in some light. I'm going to keep the dark around. You don't have to go underneath the head. You could just kind of stop it. Same thing here. You don't need a lot of it. You just kind of feather some white into that. Keep it simple. I'm going to try to fish out some white here. Do the same thing over here. And take your time because we want the hair to dry so we can do just a quick another coat of hair. So you're just putting some white into there, keeping that dark around the face. Same thing over here, just feather some white into there. Okay. All right. And you're gonna do the same thing with the ears. Okay. Take some white. Now it should really cover it. And you're just gonna go until it disappears. See how it just disappears? And you want it to be gray on the ends and white on the top. So all these transitions that we did this whole time, really just for you to practice feathering and to go slow. Okay, so by the time we get to the final feathering, you know you actually have practiced doing it. Don't worry about how much dark there is. Doesn't really matter. Just make sure it's transitioned nicely. You can just go this way with the brush to get into that. Okay. All right, so last but not least, we're gonna do the unicorn. Just the brightest part would be just in the middle. So just take that brush stroke, just take that white and just go right in the middle. You want to leave some darks on the edges. So the brightest white's going to be right down the middle. All right, cool. So if you feel like putting a little bit more white in here, just the middle part, you can do that. Kind of go around before we start black. Well, I want to do one more coat of the hair and then we're going to get to the black, okay? All right, so wash that brush off. We're almost there, guys. I'm going to start with yellow, since that's the lightest color. And I'm just going to do one more coat of yellow, just to make it a bit brighter. You know what I loved about this is like doing the eyelashes. I thought that was cool. I felt like that added a lot. All right, I think that's it. All right, so now I'm going to do, let's do pink. If you ran out of anything, just mix yourself some more. I completely ran out of pink, of course. So I gotta make myself some more. And during the second coat, if you want to change up your color a bit, so you weren't happy with the first one for some reason, now's the time to do it with your second coat. And it'll cover right over with it first. Okay, so then go right over. Right over. Don't worry about if your colors mix, it's hair. It's supposed to mix. See how much brighter the second coat is? Get up here. All right. We have my purple doesn't really look well. Yeah, maybe I'll just do a couple. Purple covered pretty good. Okay. And obviously, you can do any colors you want with this. You're not limited ever to what I'm using. Ever, with any painting. You can always use different colors. Then finally, I have some blue. Just cover with blue. And we're gonna do one more thing before we take it to the black. We're gonna do some light around the edges, the borders. Where else here? All right, so all I'm gonna do is add a little bit of white to my background color, okay? It just has to be a tiny bit lighter. Okay, I'm making mine a little bit lighter so you could see. And all I did was, I kind of went around my unicorn a little bit, just to make it a little bit more interesting. You absolutely don't have to do this. You never have to do anything I'm doing. And then I kind of put some going around. I don't know if you could see it in the original, but kind of made it more flowy in my eyes. You can do any background you want. All right, now we're gonna do black. Okay, the black really kind of brings it out at the end. Okay. So I like to take black and put it on my plate like this, and then I like to either roll my brush like this, or I'll flatten it like this, and then I'll use it. And also, I like to use my pinky as a kickstand. So, and I always go, I'm right-handed, so I'm gonna go left to right, okay? So I'll kickstand my hand like this, so my hand doesn't shake as much. And I just kind of go like that. And I don't like to ever outline the whole thing, because it kind of sets you up for messing up a little bit. So I just kind of outline some of it. And when I outline this, this unicorn horn, I like to kind of make it bumpy. And just watch where you put your finger if you're doing that whole kickstand thing. Because when it goes around, I like making it bumpy, because when it like goes around, it kind of makes these little bumps. Okay, then I like to sort of come around here. I don't like to go all the way across with that. I just kind of put a little bit of black into it. I don't like I said, I just like to kind of outline some sections. But feel free to do whatever you feel comfortable doing. Just because I do it a certain way, it absolutely does not mean you have to do that the same way. All right. So, with this eyelid, I'm just gonna take the side of it, go like that. Same thing over here. Now I'm gonna do the bottom like this. Okay, so now I'm going to take my lashes like this, and I'm gonna, oops, I'm gonna go out to the left on this side. I'm going right over the hair, if there's hair over there. And I'm gonna go out to the right on this side. Right over whatever hair is in the way. Okay. Then I'm going to come over here. Actually, I'm going to start over here. Use my hand as an anchor, my pinky, and I'm going to come around. Same thing over here. I'm going to just put a little line there, a little line there. Same thing over here. I did the whole, I outlined the whole mouth over here. If there's ever a point where you're like messed up with the black, all you have to do is go back over it with the gray. Just, I would wait till it dries. Now we're gonna do some shoulder over here. And last but not least, the nostrils. You can make those as big as you want. I made them sort of like a crescent moon. And that's about it. Feel free to make stars, hearts, whatever, to make it more unique and more like you. And really, you can get, like I said a million times, you can get into this as far into this as you want, all right? It doesn't have to end when I end it, all right? And thank you for joining me. Happy birthday, Dakota, and whoever else has birthdays this month, happy birthday. And hopefully I'll be seeing your faces soon, all right? Happy painting. Bye.